so while I was through hiking, I was photographing long distance hikers as if they were high fashion models, which is funny and ironic because we're hiking 20, 30 miles a day. We're wearing the same clothes every day. We smell like shit. Like but the thing is, it's like everyone on trail looks so hot. Like it's kind of like this weird, like strange world when you're through hiking. Just everyone looks so good. But I think the thing is because no one's going to work. Like your biggest worry of the day is like, how far do I have to walk to get water?
What do you do when you come out as LGBTQ and love the outdoors? What do you do when you see the outdoor space ruled by older white cis men and desire a diverse community of outdoor lovers? Accept it, change it, create it. I am Justin Yoder, and this is LGBT Outdoors.
Hello, everyone. It's Justin Yoder with the LGBTQ Outdoors podcast coming in to you today. And I got my husband, Patrick Thompson, as my host again.
Hey, everybody.
So you might have noticed a little bit of a difference in the intro, but we are now LGBTQ Outdoors. Some really big news for us.
Yeah, and super important, especially kind of at this moment in time when there's kind of some factors out there that are trying to erase letters from our community. We are actively doubling down and deliberately stepping out to be more inclusive. And so we've gone from LGBT to LGBTQ Outdoors. It's a process.
It's a bigger process than what I think I even realized as our board decided that we wanted to do this.
Yeah, there's branding, there's banks, there's formal government filings, there's all of our t-shirts, our podcast. It's LGBTQ Outdoor Fest now. So lots of changes to make, but we feel like it's worth it. Just to help. We want people to feel seen, without question. And if that means going through the process of making a name change, then we're going to do that. So I think it's pretty great. We got our new stickers in with our brand new logo on it. So we're making progress. Well, Justin's making progress. He's the one facilitating most of this.
No, but yeah, just to touch on that, we've always had the plus in our logo to incorporate all LGBTQI plus people, because everybody in the queer community is welcome with us. But we just felt like going that extra step to be sure that all non-binary and queer people are seen and felt seen and heard from the moment that they see our logo. So we're excited for that, even though, it is a process, but definitely worth it. We also have an important deadline coming up.
Yes. LGBTQ Outdoor Fest 2025 going to be up in New York. So super excited about that. February 11th. Oh, nuts. What are the dates?
I don't know. I've got so many dates going through my head.
Please stand by. We're going to check this out. September 11th through the 14th. So, yes, I'm going to repeat that. September 11th through the 14th. Early bird pricing is ending on February 28th. That is the last time at the lowest price that will be available for this year's Outdoor Fest. So, what is it? Save $50, I think, give or take. But it's a decent little discount. So go check it out. If you have any questions, be sure to email our LGBTQ Outdoor Fest coordinator, Josh McNabb, and he'll be able to answer any questions. But February 28th coming up.
Yeah,
sign up. Join
We
us.
also have all of our adventure trips that are live for this year. We did 2 last year, and we've got 5 planned for this year. They're all up. People are registering. I think some, maybe most, might end up filling up. So if you're interested in those, be sure to check them out. We have Broken Bow Fly Fishing. This is going to be the first one this spring, along with the Grand Canyon. This summer in July, we're doing the Alaska Adventure Trip, which we did last year as well. It was incredible. Had an amazing time. Then we're going to roll into Glacier National Park, as well as Great Smoky Mountains this fall. So check those out. Go to our website, lgbtqoutdoors.com, and click on events and then adventure trips. And they are all there for you guys to sign up. I think that's all the news for right now. So I'm ready to jump in with our guest today. Our guest today is Tommy Corey, him, photographer out of California. Really excited about him putting people in his spotlight with a new book project that he has coming out today. So, Tommy, welcome to the LGBTQ Outdoors podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm not sure how we got connected originally. I'm guessing it was Instagram. As a fellow photographer, I loved your work and just ended up falling in love with your passion for people as well, and just wanting to showcase people with the new project that you're doing. But let's start first with just letting our listeners know a little bit about who you are, where you grew up, your passion for photography, and all that kind of came from.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Redding, California. So true Northern California, just a couple hours from the Oregon border. Have lived in Oregon for a long time, kind of been living on the road the last 2 years. I'm an outdoor photographer. My focus is on people and stories from more marginalized communities, speaking a lot of on diversity in the outdoors. But I kind of got into that. I thru hiked the Pacific Crest Trail in 2018. And that's kind of what launched me into this career of storytelling and really focusing on different types of stories. You know, that thru hiking is kind of like a very, and it's very straight and white and able-bodied. And while I love that community, I just kind of wanted to create a community that was diverse and unique. And, I think there's a lot of learning to do from people that are different from you. And so I kind of followed that curiosity after the PCT and started doing short films and doing photographs and telling stories of these people I would meet through my adventures, people I'd meet off Instagram. And then as time went on, I knew I really wanted to make a book that encapsulated that curiosity of people, but also really showcased the beauty of the diversity that lies in nature, which is the people.
That's awesome. I love everything that you're doing with that.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not so much a photographer. Obviously, Justin is. Obviously, you are. Stunning photos. But you would think, like the gut reaction, like I'm going out in the wilderness, I'm doing all these incredible hikes. Like the go-to would normally be like the landscape, the mountains, the trees, the animals. And for you to take a deliberate departure from that and to focus on the people who are enjoying those areas is really, really something else. What do you think was a catalyst for like focusing more on the humans in nature rather than just explicitly the nature?
I've always had a curiosity about people since I was young. I don't know if you guys read in my what's my author's note in the beginning of the book, but I pay homage to Oprah Winfrey, who I've loved since I was a kid, because my mom would always watch Oprah, and I would eavesdrop on her watching Oprah from the time I was really young until until that show ended when I was, I don't know, 22, 23, however long ago that was. But I I was always fascinated in the way she would speak to people because she interviewed, like CEOs and politicians and murderers and like people, just like across the board, like any
Hmm.
kind of person that exists, she would interview. And I was fascinated that she always spoke to people the same way. And that's what kind of created this curiosity about getting to know people and interviewing people. So when I started taking photos when I was 12, that's immediately what I gravitated towards. I only wanted to take portraits because I thought I just find people so interesting. And so when I went to the PCT, I knew like, yeah, I'll take some nature shots for like my own, I don't know, just like my own thing. And maybe I'll print a couple for my bathroom or something stupid. But like, I just, for me, it's like, you can go and see nature all the time. It's like, I think it's so much harder to capture people, especially in that element when they are like, on a through hike or even just like being outdoors, being in a place where they're really connected to. I think that's really, we talk about so much like as humans, our integration into nature, but you don't really like hear about nature's integration into like our lives. And I find that incredibly fascinating and really important to tell because it creates this like empathy for nature and for each other. Did that answer the question? Sorry, I felt like it gave too much context.
Yeah. No. Like that's fantastic. And that's one of the things I didn't have the opportunity to read everything. But you brought up the word empathy, which like really jumped out to me just because again, like at this point in time, I feel like empathy is something that is severely lacking just across the globe. And the way you kind of address that and it's really neat. Really, really, really cool.
Yeah. And like your new book, I don't think we mentioned it yet, but All Humans Outside is, I believe, coming out in May, but available for pre-order, I believe. We're going to touch on that a little bit more and dive a little bit deeper into the book in a little bit. But just to rewind a little bit, because there's some cool stories with your childhood that I feel like I would really like to start with and kind of lay the foundation for more of this project. But you grew up, is it right, more in of a conservative town as a queer kid? I'd love to be able to hear about that, and especially about getting your first camera, because I think that that's a cool story.
Yeah. So yeah, Reading's a pretty conservative area. I am one of the lucky ones. I grew up with a very liberal family, very open and accepting. I feel the person I am is directly, attributed to my parents. So I got super lucky there, but it was kind of everything and everyone that surrounded us is very conservative. So yeah, growing up, I had a hard time. I got made fun of like, most other effeminate, like gay kids. Ended up coming out to my family when I was 16, or I came out to my parents when I was 15. I kind of came out to everyone when I was 16. And I mean, that was, yeah, I mean, obviously that was, an amazing experience to come out so young because it was like this freedom of, okay, no one can really make fun of me anymore because everyone just knows now,
It's kind of like they took the power away from them.
Yeah, exactly. And I was always a silly kid. Like I'm a silly person. I was used to be like quiet, but like at home I was loud. With people I was comfortable with, I was loud and silly. And so like being able to express who I was like, oh man, like now I could just be myself. And so those like last kind of 2 years of high school, I was able to kind of like step into my own, started making a lot more friends and just like started to be really comfortable with who I am. And yeah, so that was, I mean, a great experience. My family is obviously very loving, very accepting. And that goes for like my aunts and uncles and my cousins and everyone. So,
Nice.
When it came to photography, quick switch, just to answer your other part of the question.
Yeah.
I was 12 and my dad had given me this Olympus OM1 that he had since he was a kid. So I had expressed an interest in photography because my friend's older brother at the time was doing his senior project on portraiture, and I loved the photos he took. And so I told my parents, I was like, I want a camera so I could take pictures like Chris Woodward. And so my dad's like, well, here, use this camera, and if you stick with it, we'll buy you a nicer, this is, I don't know, 1999, so film cameras, right? Yeah. And so he was like, yeah, if you stick with it, here's the camera I use. If you stick with it, well, for Christmas, we'll get you like a nicer 35 millimeter camera. And so that's what I did. And I mean, literally, as soon as I picked up the camera, I have not stopped since. Like, it was one of those things that was like, oh, okay, here's your life's purpose. Take it, take it, run with it.
Yeah, I can relate to a lot of that because, like Patrick said earlier, obviously that I'm a photographer too, but I don't think that that's an obvious
sorry. Well,
thing.
yeah.
To him it is, but like, I love photography too since I was a kid. I don't, like I think my first camera was this little Browning that I got when I was like 8 or 9 years old. And probably you did the same thing, but drove my parents crazy with having to get the film developed back then. So parents today get to luck out on digital and save a ton of money on that. But initially then in high school, then learned how to develop and load my own black and white photography film. And that was later in life, like 2010, that I started doing photography full time professionally. Then when COVID hit, that kind of went away, and LGBTQ outdoors just took off like a madman. And so I still enjoy photography and still do it on the side, but this has become kind of my new full plus part-time job. But I love hearing your story, and like photography is such a creative outlet, and to be able to like pick it up as a kid and then just keep on running with it when you're an adult and making that a thing that you don't go tired of, that you just always love that passion and that creativity. And I'm sure you like me and always geeking out on the newest cameras and lenses and everything that's coming out. But it's a lot of fun. And so I'm glad that you found your passion early on, and also just incredible that your family has been so supportive of you for not only just being a queer person, but also for your passion for photography. So very, very, very cool.
And just for a little bit of context, if you want to, roughly like how long ago did you come out? Like about, what was the year-ish area?
Let's see. So 21 years ago. I'm 37. So what was that? 2000.
Early 2000s, somewhere on there.
2004.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I came out I was sort of outed / came out when I was in high school as well. So like my junior, senior year, this was 1997, 98. Didn't quite go as smoothly as yours. But I when I tell that my story, I always end up with I'm one of the lucky ones, because I did get the happy ending that a lot of queer folks just don't get. So when you said that, like I got goosebumps, because I think that gratitude that we get to live with is a pretty big deal, and I think kind of a responsibility as well to do what we can for our community. So anyway, thank you for sharing that. It's really cool.
Yeah. Where'd you grow up, Patrick?
Houston. So, or a suburb of Houston. So definitely Texas. But it's still sort of progressive area. I mean, like Houston, definitely a blue spot in the state.
This was also mid 90s when you came out.
Right. So
conservative family.
Right. And this was like the height of the AIDS crisis, and a lot of just public panic and misinformation. So, I had some speed bumps, and it was an uphill climb. But long story short, my parents love Justin like he's their own son. And he's been welcome for, I think, ever since we've been together. So super grateful for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Justin, where are you from?
So I grew up in Missouri, on my grandparents' farm south of Kansas City, about an hour. But I moved to Texas in 2005. So I've been around here a minute. For sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, talking about us coming out in our stories and stuff, you also did a project called the Self-Worth Project, which is really cool. I'd love for you to be able to talk about that a little bit and what inspired you to do it.
Yeah, you guys are really going back. Damn. Yeah, so the Self-Worth Project was this kind of humanitarian portrait project I did back when I was like 22, 23. So it's been a while. And basically people would write their like, biggest like insecurity somewhere on their body. And the storytelling aspect of that is I photographed like over like 200 something people, and then I would do like presentations where I'd have some of those people come and speak about like what that word meant. And there's a lot of similarities to that project in like All Humans Outside, right? It's like it was like kind of this photo project that was built to challenge people's innate sense of empathy, right? I think that's and I love that word too, because I think it's something that every human possesses. It's like to me, like empathy is like love. It's like something we're all born with. We all want, we all want to receive it. We all want to give it. It's just as we go on and life fucks us up, we like use it less, right? Or we build these walls so that we don't get hurt. And I think empathy is just like love in that sense. So a lot of the projects I have done, like the Self-Worth Project and All Humans Outside, are kind of wrapped in empathy. Like it's like, I want people to be able to not just see photos of people, but also look or like read their stories, and try to use that skill that we have, that kind of innate characteristic that is built within us. And so that was a really cool project. I only worked on it for a year. I think that project in the hands of a 23-year-old was a little bit too big. If I'm being honest, I had all these big dreams for it, and then it kind of fell off. I was still young and partying and just, being an idiot, 23-year-old. So,
as one does.
Yeah, exactly. But that led me to other things. So yeah, it was a cool experience to have.
How cool.
Yeah. And like, I think that's one of the things that I really like about you is like the projects that you take on, a lot of them just are so empowering, like it's easy to be, I did a lot of wedding photography, and that was fun, and it had its moments and stuff and meant a lot for the couple. But the projects like that I see that you're taking on are projects that have activism behind it, have empowerment behind them, and really can make a difference for diversity especially in the world that we're living in right now. Are there other projects that you would love to talk about before we talk more about All Humans Outside?
No, I think that's kind of the significant ones. I mean, Hiker Trash Vogue, when I did the PCT, was a big, and that one was really fun because it was just, that's what, I was in the middle of this kind of like life-changing journey and capturing other people on their life-changing journeys. But Hiker Trash Vogue for me was like, that was just pure fun. Like it was nice to like really showcase myself in my work. I think like that is a true reflection of who I am. It was me, enjoying nature, enjoying the people I was hiking with, and just being kind of outlandish with my work for the first time, like kind of really showing my sarcasm. But that's what led me to All Humans Outside.
So what's and like I looked up the Instagram yesterday. Give us kind of a quick little overview of what Hiker Trash Vogue was or is.
Yeah, it was essentially while I was through hiking, I was photographing long distance hikers as if they were high fashion models, which is funny and ironic because we're hiking 20, 30 miles a day. We're wearing the same clothes every day. We smell like shit. Like but the thing is, it's like everyone on trail looks so hot. Like it's kind of like this weird, like strange world when you're through hiking because everyone like looks so good. But I think the thing is because no one's going to work. Like your biggest worry of the day is like, how far do I have to walk to get water, right? Or like, where am I camping tonight? And like that's all you're worried about. No one's worried about work. No one's worried about like anything that happens in your outside life. So, and I think when you remove that stress from people just like, you can't help but like look great and feel good and like have confidence. And that, I feel like that really shined through in the photos of people.
That's fantastic and fun and clever, but also like it's fascinating because you've got people out on these journeys, which are going to be all their own and kind of experiencing everything in different ways. But as a collection of humans, it's kind of like an equalizer. Like nobody is in their office building or nobody is working at the local grocery store. Like from however you perceive like a social hierarchy, like it doesn't matter. Like today I am hiker trash and I'm kicking ass on the trail. I'm creating memories. I'm challenging myself and overcoming those challenges. And just to get everybody kind of on a level playing field without their masks, you get kind of this authenticity that you don't see in the quote unquote real world. And it comes through. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a fun project. So all humans outside, diving into that a little bit more. Share with us kind of like when you initially started this, how it all came about. And I know that you interviewed like over 200 people, I believe it was, to be in the book, and what this process was in the very beginning to start getting the feet underneath it.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, almost, I went to attempt a through hike of the CDT, the Continental Divide Trail, and so. It had been 4 years since I through hiked, and literally it's like almost every day since, finishing the PCT. I'm like, God, I can't wait to through hike again. I can't wait to through hike again. And, I went back out there and just like felt this disconnect from the community. I just realized I had changed, and, everything I do in my life is centered around my work. Like if I'm not creating, I don't see the purpose in doing something. Like that's how I've always been. And when I went out there, I was like, well, I guess I could just like, I could do Hiker Trash Vogue again. But I was back and it's, all those, same type of people, especially a lot of straight white men, and just, and that made me feel really disconnected from it. And I kept thinking like, well, what could I make that is like truly inclusive? How do I build a community that is truly diverse and inclusive? And I was like, God, I've always wanted to make a book. Like, how cool would that be if I made a book where you could open the pages and see all types of different people represented, but like not just people, but things you could do outside, right? Ways you could connect with the outdoors. And so I thought of that. And as I'm like hiking, I just kept thinking of it. And it just like that idea kept like festering. And finally it was like early June. I had hiked like 850 miles. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm just going to go see what this is because I can't stop thinking about this. And so I got off the trail. A week later, I was just finding people on the internet and interviewing them. And I had like no publisher. I had no idea how I was even going to make this happen. I was just like, I literally was just reaching out to strangers being like, I have this idea for a book that I want to make. Can I interview you? And then I started like go into my Instagram stories and be like, hey, I want to make this book. I started talking about it, saying, I want to make this book. Do you know anyone that, I'm looking for people from, diverse backgrounds but also interesting ways that they connect with the outdoors. And so I did for like 5 months, I interviewed over 200 people. And then I scaled that down to this list of 101 people. And the way, and it wasn't like, oh, you have an interesting story you're in. It was more about kind of the connection I felt with the people when I spoke to them. Because also knowing, okay, I'm going to drive or fly or come out to wherever you live, wherever that may be in the US, spend time with you and take photos of you. I want to make sure that you're comfortable with me. Like we like each other, and this whole book is about human connection as well. So I didn't want it to be a transaction. Like, cool, thanks for being in the book. Thanks for your time. See ya. Like I wanted to be like, most of these people I hung out with all day. Some of these people like let me stay at their house, and I had never even met them. Like we cooked dinner together. I took them to dinner. I met their wives or their husbands or their kids or their best friend. I spent a lot of time with these people, and so the connection I had with them in the interviews was kind of like the big piece to being like, okay, these are the people I should probably have in the book.
Amazing. And there's
cool.
so much about that I want to dive into. We're going to take a quick break, though, and get a word in from some of our sponsors that make this podcast available. And then we're going to come right back and chat more with Tommy about his new book that he has coming out, All Humans Outside.
Winnebago Industries is a leading U.S. manufacturer of outdoor lifestyle products. Their goal is to help their customer from glamping enthusiasts to off-road explorers embrace the outdoors through one of their recreational vehicles, powerboats, or pontoons. Winnebago Industries is proud to partner with leading industry and outdoor-oriented organizations such as us, LGBT Outdoors, who share in their desire to enable extraordinary mobile experiences for everyone. Together, we can all be great outdoors. Take your indoors outdoors with Spacious Skies Campgrounds, a collection of 15 campgrounds and RV parks spanning the eastern United States. Each location is unique, but all offer the perfect escape to the great outdoors if you're looking to spend quality time with your friends and family or simply need a scenic home base for your nearby adventures. Choose from RV sites, cabins, yurts, retro RV rentals, or tent sites, and enjoy on-site amenities that offer convenience, creature comforts, and fun. Visit spaciousskiescampgrounds.com for more information and easy online booking. We welcome and invite all campers to camp on with Spacious Skies Campgrounds.
All right, we are back and we are talking with Tommy Corey about his new book, All Humans Outside, and learning about the process that he went through and chatting, that's a light word to put it, over 200 people and breaking it down to 100 people for the book. I loved it before we went to break about you talking about actually connecting with those people that you were photographing. You said like it wasn't just a quick transactional thing, it was a thing where you got to connect with. So this book has to have a lot of purpose and meaning for you. I'd love to know, like, has that changed from when you first started thinking about doing this compared to now, or once you started meeting those people and having those connections? Did the meaning grow or change in any way?
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of these people I have become friends with. A lot of these people are like people I text regularly. I've hung out with quite a bit of these people after I photographed them because they're just people that are in my life now. So it's really cool to now, like once I get the book here in a few weeks, I can look through it. And it's like, oh, now I'm just like looking at pictures of my friends,
Wow.
And that's, and it's funny. It's like when I started the book and when I was like driving and going to all these people, because I drove to where everyone lived in the US and then obviously flew to Alaska and Hawaii. But wherever these people lived is where I was going to go because I wanted to photograph people in the place that they felt, was like most special to them, And I remember starting the project and being like, okay, Tommy, like, don't be too much for people. Like, just go, don't take too much, up too much people's, like, don't take up their time. They're only getting paid $150. So like, don't, like, take their photos and get out. Like, I wasn't even planning on, trying to spend too much time with these people, because I just didn't, I didn't want to take up too much of their time. I was like, they're doing me a service by giving me their time and their story and all this stuff. And I just want to make sure that, whatever, that they're not annoyed with me. And it's funny. So the 10th person I photographed, who would also be an incredible podcast guest, Kyle Stepp, if you haven't interviewed him.
Oh yeah.
Well, we've had him on the podcast. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. I was going to say,
he's awesome.
I love Kyle. I love Kyle. Yeah. And so when I was, first time I had ever met him, we had only met over our Zoom interview, but, he was like, well, you're in Albuquerque. Like, do you want to, like, go get dinner? Do you want to hang out? I was like, oh yeah, I guess I could do that. I was like, and he was the first person to be like, well, do you actually want to like hang out too? And I was like, oh, I just didn't like think that was an option, because I was so worried about taking too much people's time. And it took someone else to remind me, like, that's what this whole book is about. Right. It's like, we're not just taking photos, but like the connection between two people. Right. And like, especially right now, we need that. So it was really cool to be like reminded about the thing that I initially wanted, but was too afraid to ask for. And I'm happy Kyle kind of snapped me into that, because after that I was like, well, you know what, if people want to spend time with me, if I'm just going to ask them, and if they don't, then that's okay. But most people I found wanted to spend more time together than just taking the photos.
Kyle was on our podcast. I forget what episode it was now, but anybody that wants to hear it can go and search through it. But we had a really great, deep and long conversation with Kyle, and he's just he's an awesome person that should be in your book. So,
like, we actually owe him a part 2. Like, we said we're going to come back and finish this conversation. So, Kyle, if you're listening,
I love that, and I love the connection that you're building. So I would think that you would have a lot of good stories about the people that you connect with. But are there any other that really just like jumped out to you from photographing them, or their stories specifically, or maybe even changed your perspective on something?
Yeah. I mean, like one of the gals, Channing, who has become a good friend, like she came camping with me and some friends down in Joshua Tree for 2 nights, and we shot for like a couple hours, but we spent, like basically like 2 full days together. And that was really cool. She was trampled by a bull on her farm in Laos when she was 3 years old. A bull got loose and ran over her. And so she's paralyzed from the waist down. And, she went on to be like a Paralympic rower, and now she lives out of a truck that she has built out, and she's like found this whole system so she can like get out of her car and her wheelchair and wheel around and like crawl into the back of the truck. And she's just like adapted to like make the outdoors accessible to her rather than like waiting for everyone else to do it for her. Which I find is really interesting, because I mean, like, obviously, like, we should be like, us as able-bodied people, I think it is our responsibility to make things accessible as possible for every single person. But I just love her mindset. She's like, well, it wasn't accessible, so I'm just going to make it accessible to me, and she's just, the way she lives her life is really, really, I hate the word inspiring. It's very motivating. I think it's very motivating for other people like her that see her be like, oh shit, she can do it. I can do it. And I try to use that word a lot with this book, because inspiration is such, I think, this word that just gets thrown around so much and really doesn't mean much. We don't do much with inspiration. We do a lot with motivation. And so I hope people like that see this book and read these stories about these people, feel motivated rather than inspired.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Go ahead.
It's great to be inspired, but when you're motivated, then it's giving you kind of a reason to get out there and put action behind just being inspired.
But that's also why and we talk about it quite frequently on our podcast. Like that's why representation matters, and being able to see ourselves reflected in a positive light. And like, I feel like we touched on it, but I want to make sure, like your book, you connect with people of all genders, lots of people of color, lots of different body types, and different levels of physical ability. So like all humans outside, like really taking not only like an inclusivity look, but also deliberate representation and education and storytelling and empathy. Like, where does that come from for you? Like the need to showcase and kind of put the spotlight on such a wide diversity of humans.
I think it's kind of what I talked about earlier. It just comes from my curiosity of people, and wanting to know more about, the not just the world, but like humanity and the ways we interact with each other. And that's why the word belonging is in the title, because it is what I've discovered through making this book, is that belonging is that thing that like really just like, our whole lives revolve around, right? Like every feeling that we get throughout our day is based off, am I gonna, feel love? Am I gonna feel empathy? Am I gonna feel belonging? Am I gonna feel like I fit in, right? Like everything, like it, I don't think people realize how much like belonging dictates how we go throughout our lives. And does that answer your question? Kind of?
Yeah.
Like,
no, totally.
Yeah. And so I think it's like, that's why I've always wanted to, explore, people and the way we interact with each other. Is that curiosity that, first came from Oprah, but then also came from taking portraits and seeing how people interact even with that, with me, and getting their picture taken. So yeah, there's a lot of different levels to it.
And one of the things that I love about this project is that you've connected more with humanity by going outside. Like, and don't get me wrong, like I'm all about kind of like solo adventures, going off and like hiking by yourself. Like that's very peaceful and healing for me. But the fact that you've like really dug into the positive side of connecting to other humans, using nature as a conduit, is really, really cool. Unique. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think, as someone who's done plenty of solo things, like, through hiking, and I trail run, and I go on bike rides, I do all these things by myself. It's like, the world is fucking lonely as it is. It's so much better when we experience it together.
Yeah.
I don't care how introverted you are, just like empathy, just like love, we are built for connection. That is just something we all want. And that comes back to that word belonging. We all just want to belong to each other.
Yeah. I'd love for you to kind of talk about the belonging aspect of it with the queer community as well, because you've been doing outdoor stuff for a long time. So have you noticed with the LGBTQIA community, from when you first started getting involved in the outdoors to now, anything that has changed significantly, whether that's how queer people are getting outside, more of them getting outside, or how the industry might have been, the outdoor industry has changed at all towards our community?
This is a hard one, because I feel I feel like there's been so much change, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way too, especially with what you guys do. I feel like there's been so much change, and with the lack of hope that there is right now, it's really hard to say, yeah, there's change happening. Um, I think I think with that, there has been more human connection, right? There's been more bonding. There's been more affinity groups for people, much like, LGBTQ outdoors, and like climbing groups for people of color, or outdoor groups for disabled people, or outdoor groups for amputees, right? There's been more and more affinity groups because more and more people want to just feel like they belong to each other. So I think that's where the change has happened, is that we more and more are realizing, okay, yes, it's good to have, we need diversity, but we also need to be around sometimes people that are like us, so that we can feel that sense of belonging, and then we can feel like we're not weird, or we're not different, or or that we don't belong, because that's not true.
100%. One thing that kind of has given me a little bit of hope and encouragement through things is seeing a lot of the older people that are on Instagram Reels or TikTok or wherever, and they're like, what we're going through isn't something that we haven't seen before. If you're old enough, this kind of thing has happened before, and we always come out of it and try to progress. So it's definitely challenging times, to say the least. But I do always have hope, and our community is one of resilience, for sure. Mm-hmm. And so I love what we're doing. I love other LGBTQ organizations, queer organizations that are doing exactly what you were talking about, giving people a place to belong, connecting people, because we do need that community. We do need to be able to rely on each other. And I know for us, getting outside is huge, and it's something that we just really love and encourage people to do. If somebody is listening that doesn't like the outdoors, first of all, good for you, especially if you made it this long into this episode. But if you were to speak to somebody that maybe thinks, hiking isn't for them, or they would like to do outdoor photography, but they don't see themselves represented or know how to get plugged in to be able to make something like that happen. Maybe they're just curious about the outdoors, and there's just something holding them back. What would you say to somebody like that?
I would just tell people, I don't know, start small. You don't have to go on a long hike. You don't have to go on a trail run. You don't have to do these big things to connect with nature. And that's why I made this book, right? There's people there's a taxidermist, there's people, that like to sit and bird watch. There's all different types of people, that connect with nature in their own way. And I think just finding your way is actually pretty easy. I mean, it could be if you go to lunch with a friend and it's a nice day and you decide to sit outside, that's wanting to be outdoors, right? That I feel especially with social media, we think being outdoorsy or connecting to nature has to be this big fucking parade, right? When really it's okay, I don't feel good today, or I'm having a bad day. I'm just going to go sit on a park bench, or I'm just going to go take a walk around my neighborhood. It really is that simple, right? Because immediately you get trees, you get sunshine, you get grass. It's, and even if it is in an urban area, right, that's still going outside. That's still making a tiny step to just be I'm just going to change my scenery real quick. And I think it really is just as simple as that, is to change your scenery, is taking the step outside. And it doesn't have, you don't have to go climb Everest. You don't have to go on a thru hike. You don't have to go on a bike packing trip. Just go sit outside.
Yeah, and 100% agree with you. And that's one thing that we tell our ambassadors too, because some of our ambassadors like to lead events where they're going and climbing these crazy mountains in Colorado, starting at 3 a.m. in the morning and whatnot. But then we also tell people, if that's not you, that's fine. If you want to get a group together and go have a picnic in a park and everybody brings a bottle of wine and whatnot, that's perfectly fine too. As long as you're just getting outside and you're getting that fresh air, that sunshine, connecting. Great things happen when you get outside and you connect with others. So 100% agree with that. Where will people be able to get your book, and when will they be able to get your book?
Well, it's available for pre-order right now. It will be published May 1st, so people will be getting it right after then. So beginning of May is when they'll be shipped out. And yeah, I mean, anywhere you can buy books. So Barnes & Noble, Target, you get on the Mountaineers website. You can go on Amazon, but honestly, fuck Amazon. So don't buy it on Amazon. I was gonna say that. So yeah, I would get it, or I'd get it off Barnes & Noble or the Mountaineers book.
Very cool. And we could put those links in the show notes as well, so people can easily find those, as well as where people can find out about you. We'd love to be able to connect them with you. If you want to share any socials or website or anything like that.
Yeah. Website is just TommyCorey.com. My Instagram is Twerk in the Dirt.
Love that.
I'm sure there's a story behind that.
Twerk was my trail name.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah.
It's funny, like at the beginning of our this episode, when we started talking with you, you started asking us questions back. Well, like, where are you from? Like, where'd you? And I was like, oh crap! Now we're being interviewed. But like, it pointed to the fact that that's your nature. Like, is that curiosity? Thanks, Oprah. And I was like, oh, this is a real deal. Like this guy. So, like, it was cool. And then we had to get back on track, but it stood out to me. It was really neat.
Oh, thanks. I also want to say to you guys, congratulations on adding the Q. I don't know if I hope you guys know that like language is really important, and I think even something that might seem small is probably really big to a lot of people. I think language is really important, and so congratulations on making the steps to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And as we've been rolling it out and announcing it, we've only got positive feedback for it, and more people, feeling seen and whatnot. And it was never an intention at all, obviously, to leave anybody out. No. So when we started this, the most common thing people were saying was LGBT plus, and so that's kind of what we rolled with. And as things evolved, we want to be able to evolve and just make sure like everybody's feeling seen and heard, because if you are a part of the queer community, we want you to be a part of what we're doing if you want to. So
100%.
But thank you for saying that. We greatly appreciate that. Do you have any final thoughts or anything you'd like to share as we wrap up?
I don't think so. I think we covered a lot. I mean, I could talk forever too, and then it's Sunday. Get up, go do something outside. So.
Right. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Tommy. We really appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck with your book. I can't wait to get my hands on it. We're going to show some great photos throughout this episode. If you're not watching on YouTube, you can watch again on YouTube and see some of the images from his book as well. But I just hope that it's a huge success for you, because I truly believe in what you're doing and the idea behind this project. And so thank you again for coming on and for your time.
Yeah, thanks for your guys' time. I can't wait to send you guys a book.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
Love that. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in again today. I want to throw out too, like, if you haven't ever left us a review for our podcast, we would really love that. Wherever you're listening to, rate and review us, because it helps boost us so that other people can find our podcast and make a big difference as well. Go over to LGBTQoutdoors.com to learn all about us, sign up for our newsletter, find a local chapter near you, adventure trips, LGBTQ Outdoor Fest, all the things are over there. So we hope that you check us out and that you would join us on a trip or an outdoor activity soon. But until next time, get out there.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the LGBT Outdoors podcast. You can catch up on past episodes on your favorite podcast streaming platforms. Stay connected with us on Instagram at LGBT Outdoors and join our vibrant community at facebook.com/groups/LGBT Outdoors. Support our mission to promote LGBTQ+ inclusion in the outdoors by becoming a member of the Trailblazer Society at lgbtoutdoors.com/trailblazers. For more information about LGBT Outdoors, LGBT Outdoor Fest, local chapters, adventure trips, or to sign up for our newsletter, head to lgbtoutdoors.com. If you're enjoying the episode, don't forget to rate, review, and follow us. Your support makes a difference.